Welcome to the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama Show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host, feminine energy expert, health coach for women, registered holistic nutritionist, and the creator of the groundbreaking health and mindset program for mothers, the Feminine Energy Current, which is designed for perimenopausal women who are done having kids and are ready to get their energy and power back. Ladies, think about it. What would the world look like if, as women, we stopped being so harsh on ourselves and instead felt more energized, powerful, and more connected to our bodies? What if, as women, we honored the fact that we are built and wired differently than men? And being different does not mean being inferior. That the go, go, go mentality, alongside doing more to have more without ever pausing and resting, only leads to chronic stress, anxiety, burnout, overwhelm, lack of joy, and it corrodes our health, relationships, and vitality, especially when we are raising small kids. What if, as women, wives, and mothers, we had the courage and confidence to desire more? More freedom, power, energy, joy, abundance, pleasure, fun, play, and sex, all on our own terms. Mama, you deserve to feel good. You deserve to form healthy relationships, and your body needs, craves, and deserves pleasure. This is your birthright. You are here because you believe in your feminine power. You are here because you care about health and the environment, and you're not afraid to take action and change. You are here because you don't want to pass on a pattern of self-destruction, hiding, and not speaking your truth to your daughters. You're here because you're done feeling stuck, living a mediocre life as a half woman. You're here because you're done struggling and frankly can no longer afford to feel like crap. Each week, I will be here for you, dropping a healthy dose of inspiration and motivation, as well as introducing you to my brilliant guests, where we will dive deep into all things womanhood, feminine power, energy, psychology, holistic and alternative health, food, nutrition, hormones, mindset, motherhood, relationships, sex, business, and much more. So mama, are you ready to take back control of your health? Let's do this together. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama podcast. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host. I'm still getting used to the new name. Today I don't even know what word to use. I'm so thrilled, I'm excited, I'm pumped, I am energized. Because I get to speak to one of the, I think, leaders in the topic of sexuality, of health and vitality. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I don't want to give too much away. So why don't we begin with, I'm just going to read some of your bio. I condensed it a little bit, Suzanne, and then we'll dive right into the questions. So here we go. So Susan Bratton is a champion and advocate for all who desire passionate relationships. Considered the Dear Abby of sex, Susan's fresh approach and original ideas have helped millions of people of all ages and across the gender spectrum transform sex into passion. Yay! Susan is an author, award-winning speaker, and serial entrepreneur who teaches passionate lovemaking techniques to her fans around the world. Susan has been featured in the New York Times and on CNBC and the Today Show, as well as appearing on ABC, CBS, the CW, Fox, and the NBC as the Marriage Magician. Susan's straight-talking, fearless approach is rooted in her personal experience of watching her sex life wither while she and her husband pursued dynamic careers. Married to her husband, Tim, since 1993, When their relationship hit a crisis point, the couple made a fierce commitment to do whatever it took to keep their family together and revive the passion in their marriage. Today, she and her husband have the kind of dream relationship most people long since stopped believing is even possible until they discover Suzanne's teachings. Professionally, Suzanne is CEO and co-founder, together with her husband, of Personal Life Media. And through her company, Suzanne has authored 20 books, including Relationship Magic, The Passion Patch, and 30 romance tricks that work like magic, as well as her international #1 Amazon bestseller, Sexual Soulmates, The 6 Essentials for Connected Sex. Suzanne believes that shame-free, frequent sex pleasure is every man and woman's birthright. Absolutely. And here's a quote from Suzanne, although as though you are not here with me. I still have to read it. So, after 25 years of marriage, I know from experience that deep, passionate intimacy with my partner is priceless, a priority that tops on my list of must-haves alongside good health and the love of family and friends. I've made it my mission to aid anyone who wants the kind of lovemaking that improves with age. She and her husband split their time between their home in California and their cozy beach shack, with occasional trips to far-off lands to visit their globe-trotting daughter. Oh my goodness, what a bio. Welcome, Suzanne.
That's so funny to hear your own bio. You know, it really brought me back to that crisis point in my marriage with my husband, Tim, Dorit.
Yes. I want to know the story.
Yeah, I remember the crisis point day. Our daughter, our little girl, was about 6 years old. Her name is Taylor. And it's funny, I named her Taylor because I wanted an androgynous name, because I wanted something where if someone were to hear about her before they met her, they wouldn't know if she was a boy or a girl. So she would get the advantage of the masculine patriarchal superiority that is endemic to our culture. Yes. And it's funny just to think about how far women have come even in my lifetime. And that little girl, little Taylor, she had this little kind of peach-colored blankie. And the blanket was made by one of my sister-in-laws, and she'd bordered it with satin edging. And the satin was really nice satin, so it was very smooth. And Taylor would rub that satin on the edge of her blankie, on her lips. She would rub it back and forth across her lips if she was nervous about something. So I always could tell, that was kind of like a little tell. You know how every child you have, you can tell the little things they do, and you notice when they're nervous. Well, my husband had his car packed up. We were divorcing. He had his car packed up. He was in the driveway. We were standing at the threshold of our home at the front door, and Taylor was right there down at my feet, standing there, rubbing that blankie across her lips. And my husband had his window down, and she said, "Are you still going to be my daddy?" And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm going to ruin this little girl's life. This is not what I had planned. And I just thought in that moment, it just snapped me right out of my own terror and upset and shame and anger, because my husband and I had lost our way intimately. We had been together for, let's say, 10 years, just about 10 years, maybe 9 years. And it was 11 years. And we, on our 11th wedding anniversary, I got drunk on gin martinis. And I said, I like you, but I love you, but I don't really like you anymore. What has happened to us? And he said, I feel the same way. And we had come to find out that he had tried to get me to want to have sex with him. And I liked it when we first got together, but I just got disinterested in it. I'd had my child. I had a fabulous career, Dorit. I I really was very successful in Silicon Valley. I ran $100 million business. I was a multimillionaire. I had a mansion in Silicon Valley. I had a trophy husband who was a famous inventor. I had a gorgeous little girl. I was in the prime of my life. From the outside, it looked like everything was amazing. Like, I am sure that most people were jealous. Like, I want what they have. But deep down inside, we weren't having sex. I didn't want him. He was constantly feeling rejected. He'd emotionally checked out of our relationship. And it ended up, what had happened after I kind of said, hey, you know, what are we doing here? He'd been having a series of affairs with married women whose husbands weren't sleeping with them.
Oh my God.
He was trying to get his needs met. He was trying to stay in the marriage. We were best friends. We just weren't intimate anymore.
Yeah. That's what I hear a lot women tell me. We are just roommates. Like, we're really good partners, but there's the spark between us is lost.
Yep. So it was in that moment when she said, are you still going to be my daddy? That I still say those words, and every time I say them, my chest caves in, and I get this like bloom of sick feeling running up my chest into my throat, like this bitter sadness, you know? Mm-hmm. So here's what we did to fix it. And this is what I learned. And really what I want to do is I want to give you the wisdom of the elder woman here. I'm 58 years old. And now I have really hot sex with my husband, the same guy, the guy I didn't even want to have sex with. I have the best sex of my life at 58 years old. You'd think your sex life would be over if you're as old as me. But I can tell you that your sex can keep getting better. And it takes a few things, and it takes understanding the things I'm going to explain to you so that you can either prevent it or turn it around.
Yes. And
let me see what the best way to tell you about that is. Let me tell you what the path to recovery was. Let me tell you what we learned. I'll kind of take it in, a bit of chronological order. What did we do? Mm-hmm. So we said, all right, we are idiots. Let's not screw this up. Because I said to my husband, I might be able to replace you, but I could never do better. So why the hell should I replace you? Let's fix it. And we've always been the kind of people who've said, we can figure this out. From the very beginning of our marriage, we had a name for our relationship. We called ourselves Team Sweetie. Because we always felt like it was us, that we needed to be together to solve things. And over the years, as we went into financial ruin, we lost that beautiful house in Silicon Valley. We had to move out and move into a rental. We've had a lot of problems over the years. We've had a lot of things that have impacted us. We got taken down in a con. We've had a lot of illnesses happen to us. So you have to go through your life, and your life is an ebb and a flow. And you can either fall apart in the bad times, in the crisis moments, or you can doubly resolve to hang together, to fix it, you two together. And if you can't get there, and I didn't even really fully love my husband until I was 49 years old, and I married him when I was 31. It took me that long. I was not a securely attachment parented child. I was the parent of my parents. I love them, but they're very delicate people. And somehow I came out very strong. So it took me a long time to learn how to fully love. And it took me a long time to trust that my husband could meet my needs, my relationship needs, my security needs, my needs for freedom, my needs for honesty, my needs for variety, the things that were the most important to me in my relationship. And it took me a long time to understand that his needs were totally different than mine, and that what he wanted most of all was a passionate relationship, and that if he couldn't have that, he didn't want to be in that relationship. And I needed to learn how to get good in bed, and so did he. We did not know what we're doing, and neither do you guys. You don't know what you're doing yet. You're babies. 35 years old is baby. You don't know anything yet. All you know is that you, in your 20s, you had sex and it was novelty and it was new and there was variety and it was interesting. And then you hit your 30s and you started having your babies, and then you got bored with your husband, and then you were like, oh my God, what do I do? This isn't good. And then when you hit your 40s, you go, wait a minute, I only have so much time left. And then you think, I've got to do something. I've got to learn some skills, or I'm going to lose my sex life. I'm going to lose this part of my life. It's weird how you just go through these phases.
Yeah.
It's just sexual maturation. That's what it really is. So first thing we did was we went to a marriage and family therapist, and she said, oh, well, you know, sex doesn't last in marriages. It's a natural evolution. You know, you can't expect it to be, you can't expect it to be like it was when you were married. And we walked out of there and my husband was like, we're not going back to her. Yeah. He was really fighting for our marriage. At the same time, the girlfriend that he was still having sex with, because he hadn't even come clean to me at that time that he was cheating on me, was telling him, you should be getting sex every day. You know, because her husband wasn't having sex with her. They would meet a couple times a week at lunch and make love in a hotel. And she was saying, you should divorce your wife. You should go with me. So here we are going through, you know, trying to find therapy, trying to find our way back. She's telling him to leave me. He's like, I need to have sex every day, you know? And I was like, oh my God, I don't even want to have sex with you. And then what was really horrible about it was he was so conflicted about it. Like, I was trying to repair the relationship. So I was trying to have sex with him, and he stunk. He smelled like a lie. I didn't know that's what it was at the time. But he smelled so disgusting to me that I could barely stand to have sex with him. So here I was trying to have sex with this guy that I loved, trying to repair my marriage, while he was still screwing around on me behind my back and stunk to high heaven. It was misery. Now, I love my husband. When I say these things, you can't imagine how much I love my husband and how much empathy I have for what he was going through. Yes. I completely forgave him for the cheating. I totally understand why he did it. It wasn't about me. It was about him trying to get his needs met and stay with me. He did that because he loved me so much. He would have left me otherwise, right? So I did not, that was really not, I felt shame. I felt a failure from the cheating. I didn't feel like he was wrong. I felt like I was wrong, but it wasn't me. It was really us. And it was really that we just didn't know what the heck we were doing. We were just a couple of dumb idiots, but that's what we all are at 35. I'm still a dumb idiot. I'm just a dumb idiot at 58. It's just, you know, just a dumb idiot about different things. Some things I've learned. I've learned a few things. So this is what I'm going to explain. So finally, we went to a second therapist, and the second therapist said, okay, well, this everyday thing, what is your problem? I want you to go to a Sex Addicts Anonymous. And I think you might be a sex addict. But really what was happening was his girlfriend was like feeding this stuff into his head that he had to have sex every day. And not that you shouldn't have sex every day. It's not for some couples. That's good. You know, when a couple is matched on the high end of the bell curve, they want sex every day. Not every couple does, you know, 2-3 times a week, once a week. My husband and I probably have sex once a week, and it's great sex, and we have it for a long time, and we enjoy ourselves. But my God, we're launching a new company. We're busy. You know, we've just got a lot going on.
Yes.
Great when we have it. We have sex what's right for us, and that's what's right for us. I never say you should do any certain amount, but once a week at least to connect intimately is, you know, it's a good goal. Let's put it that way. Do what you can, right? And when it starts to be good, and I'm going to tell you how to make it good in an hour, you want it. I want more sex than I get, actually. I want way more sex than I get. I'm just so freaking busy right now. So I take what I can get. We do what we can do. We schedule our dates. We look forward to it. We have great sex, and then we look for another date. So the second therapist said, okay,
Suzanne, sorry, just before you go there, I have to ask you this. You said in the beginning, because I know what women are thinking. I know my client. You said in the very beginning, even when you've had this rupture between the two of you, you still had a solid foundation in terms of you were always very connected together. So what do you say to women who don't feel like they have this foundation? So just to give you an example, just yesterday I connected with a mama who is already in the process of a divorce or filing for divorce papers. because she believes that her husband is basically a baby Yui. Like he's just a grown-up baby who is attached to his parents.
Yeah.
And so in her mind, she doesn't see him as a man that deserves respect. Instead, she basically belittles him. So I want you to address what should women who believe, because I know that it is a belief. At the end of the day, if you married this person, it was based on something. So what do you recommend to women who believe that their foundation to begin with was shaky?
Well, here's the thing. Hormones, they are tricksters. And when you get to be about 30, 35, your hormones literally take over your body and make you have a baby. And you are completely out of your frickin' head. And you are lucky if you got a good one. And you pick for all kinds of weird genetic things that have no foundation in the reality of daily life. And it is a very high likelihood that she just was under what I would call that veil of hormones that was compelling her to have a baby. And her body picked a good parent, a good set of genetics for the child, but he did not have the masculine qualities that met her relationship values, or perhaps the maturity, or whatever it might have been. And in that particular case, there are a lot of women for whom, if they know this guy is not going to go the distance with me, they're better off letting him go and moving on when they're young, because and keeping it as positive as possible, but going out and finding the right man for them. Because the right man for you, put your oxygen mask on before putting the one on for your children, right? Mm-hmm. The right man for you is going to make your children ultimately more stable and happy. If you know deep in your heart you're married baby Huey, kick him back to mom and dad. Keep going. You're on the right track. In your heart. I knew in my heart my husband I could never do better. I knew we were just dumb. We were missing something. Something went wrong. We could figure it out. But if you don't think your husband can figure it out with you, then it is the right direction to let him go.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you said that, because I don't know. I guess it's my upbringing that I grew up in a home where you stay no matter what.
That's a silly thing to do.
Yeah.
I think that's a cultural moray of the patriarchal society trying to oppress women and keep them in the home.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically,
like
are you saying, baggage. Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. So are you saying that there is no such thing as soulmates?
There's no such thing as soulmates. My number one book was Sexual Soulmates. Soulmates are co-created. You create your soulmate. You don't find them. Like when people say to me, when am I going to find my soulmate? I say, when you find someone and you co-create that experience together. That's a learned skill. It's not a divine ordination. It's not a divine ordained, whatever.
Yeah.
There's not someone out there divinely ordained. It's not divinely ordained. Here's another interesting thing that I noticed, and that is that when there's an issue in the relationship, and this is mostly through the filter of sexual issues because that's what I'm like the Dear Abby of sex. I get thousands of questions a year from people over the last almost 15 years. People have asked me their most personal, deep sexual questions. So I have a really good sense of what people are thinking and how they're thinking about it at all ages and around the world. People from all over the world ask me questions. And one of the things that I notice is that when there's a problem, especially sexually, the woman will think it's her fault. She'll take it on. She'll be like, it's just, I don't know. I just don't feel like I have it. It's not. And she takes it on herself. And when there's a problem in the sex life and the guy talks to me, he's like, yeah, it's about her. He thinks it's her and she thinks it's her. Well, it's not. It's both of them. Trust me. It's so funny how we take the blame for things that aren't our fault, and we get the blame for things that aren't our fault. But that's because of testosterone and estrogen. Testosterone makes men certain. Estrogen makes women anxious. So you know how if you're in a corporate setting and there's a job to get done and 3 men will throw their hat in the ring who are underqualified and the one woman who's overqualified won't be even sure she can do the job?
Yes,
That's estrogen.
That. Yeah.
That's estrogen. It plays tricks on us. We are way more qualified than we think. We have more skills than we know. But testosterone makes men more certain. So that's why that ends up being like that. All right. So let me tell you one more thing about that. If you're not sure if you're in the right relationship, could you fix it? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because this is one of the things that fixed my marriage. So this ties into the story that I'm telling you about how we fixed our marriage. And it's the kind of advice that you're looking for in this conversation. There is one of the very first things that my husband and I had to do was we had to get honest with each other. I'll tell you that we are born in our culture to be liars.
Yes.
We sugarcoat, we pussyfoot, we walk on eggshells, we withhold, we stuff, we minimize, we do everything to not just say the truth.
The truth, yes. Mm-hmm.
And what I have found and what I want to tell you is that people can handle the truth. You can handle the truth. You want to know the truth. Wouldn't you rather know the truth?
Yes.
Everyone would rather know the truth. It's our culture. It's another dirty deed we've gotten, a dirty download from our culture is that we should sugarcoat things. Don't sugarcoat if you have any issues in don't sugarcoat in your relationship. Read a book called Radical Honesty by Bratton and learn how to be honest. Now, what Tim and I had to do was we had to get totally honest. I had to tell him I've never had an orgasm from intercourse. I've never, it's no fun for me. I've been feeling like a masturbatory sock for a decade. I don't want it anymore. The reason I don't want sex with you is that it's no fun for me. I just don't enjoy it. And he was appalled. He was like, he couldn't believe it because it felt great to him. So that's the thing called the orgasm gap. You've probably seen the TED Talk on it. It's a brilliant concept. It's basically that 95% of the time a guy can have an orgasm from intercourse, and maybe half the time some women can. It's really easy for them and it feels good. It's much harder for us. What I can tell you as well, and we can always circle back to this, is that orgasm is a learned skill, and every woman can orgasm in 15 different ways. So can men. We are very orgasmic beings, and learning how to have orgasms from intercourse is actually pretty easy. You just need to know what to do. And I have a YouTube channel called betterlover.com. Just go to betterlover.com. And in there are a series of videos that I've created called How to Have Penetration Orgasms, How to Have Orgasms from Intercourse. Watch those. That's how to have orgasms from intercourse. If you do that, it will save your marriage. Because that's what he wants to do because it feels best to him. And that's what you need to learn how to do to have the great sex that you deserve. Mm-hmm. So going back to the truth, once we started telling each other the truth, it was a lot easier to deal with what the problems were. And then we went on this, in addition to our second therapist, we went on a whole bunch of personal growth work. We took sex workshops. We went to Tony Robbins. We did Walked on Fire. We did Date with Destiny. We did tantric workshops. We did orgasmic meditation workshops. We did Human Awareness Institute. We spent like $25,000 because remember, we were really wealthy Silicon Valley, amazing internet 1.0 success stories, right? Who everything later came crashing down, which was it's been an interesting life that I've had. And you learn a lot from being on the highs and the lows, right? And we've been through everything together. At this point, we're going on 30 years of marriage. So one of the things we learned was this concept called relationship values. And I have a book. It's on Amazon, but it's called Relationship Magic, and it's a printed book on Amazon, but you can get it for $9.95 at myrelationshipmagic.com if you want to just PDF it and print out the download, which I think is better to save $15 or $20. Mm-hmm. My Relationship Magic. So Relationship Magic helps you figure out what your top 4 relationship values are, and it helps your partner figure out what his top 4 relationship values are. And when you do that, you understand that you have wildly different things that you care about in your relationship. So for example, my relationship values at the time, one of the things I didn't understand was the security was really important to me. I'd always made all my own money because I was afraid to trust my husband to do it, even though he was successful. It was crazy. My mom had programmed me to never trust a man because she had 3 failed marriages. And so she was like, you always have to have your own money. You always have to squirrel money away. You can't ever trust a guy. And so I never really let go. We never even had a blended financial. I always had our separate checking accounts for like a decade in our marriage because I was afraid. When I realized that I wanted him to take care of me, that he was really good at math and money and I sucked. And I started letting him take care of me in the way he wanted to take care of me all along. That really helped. When I understood that passion was his number one relationship value, and it didn't mean getting sex every day. It meant letting him see me naked, kissing him, sitting on his lap and hugging him, grabbing his package when he went by, dressing up in lingerie. My husband loves when I dress up in lingerie and high heels and prance around the house. He freaking loves that. Now, that's just his relationship values. But once I understood that that's what he wanted and I started doing it for him, he felt like he was into the perfect relationship. And then he wanted other things, honesty, growth, things like that. I wanted more freedom because I'm an extrovert and he's an introvert. I also needed the honesty at that point. So what we did was we figured out our 4 relationship values, and then every day we started getting up and doing the things to our partner that they wanted and prioritizing those so that they felt like they were in the relationship of their dreams. That was the game changer that really healed things. Plus learning how to make love, having penetration orgasms, learning how to have different kind of orgasms, learning how to slow down. The therapist that I went to had realized that I had been sexually traumatized by my stepfather at a young age. I had many things go wrong with me sexually. I had bad boyfriends. I almost was date raped. I got pregnant the first time I made love, even though I was using contraception. I had to have an abortion. I had a lot of sexual traumas in my life that every time I was making love with my husband, I was kind of like checking out. They call it dissociating.
Yes.
And so he learned to keep me connected with him. He went to all my trauma sessions and helped me heal all of that. I got to compassion and forgiveness, and I let all that go. And I was able to finally start to slow down and relax and enjoy lovemaking. And so once we got really honest, and then we started working each other's relationship values, and then we started slowing down and really connecting and working on our sex life and implementing the skills we had learned. Oh my God, our relationship just got off the hook great. I mean, and it's never stopped being great. We got on what I like to call the upward pleasure spiral. Instead of swirling down the toilet, we were getting better and better and better in bed and in relationship together. And it took understanding our values, being honest, and working on our sex life. And by working on our sex life, I really mean we just started learning new things together, because having sex the same old way is boring as heck for us women. We just get so bored. Guys don't get bored. They're very compartmentalized. Intercourse feels good. They want to do it every morning. They could do it every morning for the rest of their life, and they would say, I have the best sex life of anybody I know. But we would be like, oh my God, I am so bored. All he wants to do is have intercourse every morning the same way, and it's so boring. And so you have to understand the difference between the masculine and feminine and start really working that way, which we could get into if you want to.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You just said so many amazing things. And I'm like, wait. Okay. So first of all, I love that you said that women get bored.
Oh, we get so bored.
Yeah. Because from my work, and I begin my work with women. I'm a nutritionist by profession. And so we begin our work through energy. So exploring energy, how to eat right, how to exercise, how to cycle sync. So we work a lot around the hormones and the thyroid and the gut and all those things, which I really want to get to know what you want to, what your take on that. Yeah. But eventually we get to talk about sexuality and sensuality. And a lot of women would tell me, so what you said about security and safety, that's absolutely at the top of our needs as women. And it's like just keeps coming back again and again in every coaching session that I have with women. And also that women don't just want good sex, women want great sex. And then the problem is that we just don't know how to communicate that without hurting anyone's feelings. And it's just so silly, right? So bringing it back to sexual maturation, and then maturation to begin with, right? Because the process of life, the purpose of life is growth, right? You can't just stay the same way. It's about growing, it's about maturing, it's about evolving. And so I find that a lot of my work is about giving women their power back, the power that they haven't even realized that they've given away. So, and then the other thing I wanted to hear your take on is women's tendency to slip into drama. So, and I
know that annoys me.
Annoys
I really am not that woman.
Right, but it's very clear that you've went through a process to not be that woman. It sounds like you have the awareness, and a lot of women don't even understand that they are in a drama. So there are two things that I see are at like the foundation for female suffering. Number one is I see a lot of women slipping into body dysmorphia, so hating the body for whatever reason. I'm fat, I don't like my arms, I don't like my whatever.
That's estrogen.
That's estrogen, right?
Estrogen is high anxiety and attention to detail, and it's always worried about everything. You literally have to get control of your mind and use your mind over your body. It's your estrogen making you feel that way about yourself. Your husband doesn't see that. He loves the way your body looks.
Right, absolutely. And then the other thing is our tendency to slip into drama. So I really, really want us to come back to hormones. It's really important for women to understand that they're not broken, that there's nothing wrong with them, that she's not stupid, she's not weird. It's really a biological reason. So let's talk more about how we can balance our hormones. What is the kind of maybe work that we can do around, I don't know, food, lifestyle, detox. I love one of the videos that you've done in the summit, which we will talk about at the end of this interview, was with Dr. Tom O'Brien, which, oh my gosh, thank you so much for introducing me to him. And the way he spoke about toxins in the environment and plastics. And by the way, you see, I don't have nail polish anymore. That's thanks to him. I really want you to reiterate what, first of all, that working on hormones is very, very important. It's like the forefront of our health as women. And then also what are the steps? What are the things that we need to do in order to help ourselves expel this excess, the toxic estrogen out of the body?
Okay, good. All right. We have about 20 minutes left of our allocated time for this podcast. And I want to really give you, some more excellent things. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go back to one thing that you said. And that was we have trouble telling our partner what we want. I want to give you another gift that I think will really help with that problem. So and then we'll get into the whole how do I feel like having sex piece of it. So most women say to me, I want him, but I don't. I wish I did. It's when I have sex with him, I'm glad I did, but I never want to.
Yes.
And they're also bored. He has very little skill, but thinks he's a great lover. Mm-hmm. And that's testosterone. He literally doesn't even freaking know how bad he is in bed. because it's good for him. You have to remember that. So and you don't want to tell him lighter, harder, softer, get off my hair or whatever, because if you do, he goes, well, I know, he shuts you down.
Yeah.
Or he's shut you down at one point and now you're like, well, I'm just going to lie here and do the best I can do. And sex should be incredibly fulfilling. You should be having tons of orgasms. You should be totally loving it. It should create massive amounts of happiness for you. It should make you feel like a freaking goddess, a super sexy woman. Like you go everywhere you go, you're having the best sex of anybody. When you walk into a room, people know that you're like a well-loved woman. You feel connected to the center of the earth and grounded. You love your body because you don't care about whatever these little perceived issues were, because everybody's got a crappy body. None of them are that good looking. I mean, we just live in this little funky package, but dudes don't even notice that. So just let it go. Wear lingerie to cover up the things you don't like. And just move on from that every time it comes into your mind. It's like a mindset practice. And so, we've got a lot of things working against us. And when you start being able to tell your partner what you need in the moment, and they really love hearing what you need and they want to give that to you, everything shifts. And this is the trick for doing it. I call this my sexual soulmate pact, PACT, like an agreement. You can get it at sexualsoulmatepact.com. And it's a free download. It's like a 20-page little ebook, and it's one technique, and you can give this to your husband to read, and you can talk about it on date night, and you can come to this agreement. Because here's the real deal. The real deal is, because he's testosterone dominant, he thinks he knows what he's doing. He thinks he's awesome in bed, and because it feels so good to him, he assumes it feels good to you. So he literally just doesn't know how annoying he is and how scratchy he is and how boring he is and, all that stuff. And so you have to help him understand the feminine is very, very different. So that he's hormonally cyclical on a daily basis. In the morning, his testosterone rises. He gets morning wood if he's healthy. If he doesn't get morning wood, you got a sick husband on your hands. You got to work on his gut microbiome. But we'll get to the gut microbiome and detoxification for hormones when we get here, because we're Dr. Mom. We got to take care of our husbands because they think everything's always okay, right? Because they can handle anything. They just gut through it all. We can't. So we have to be the ones that take care of us, our family, and our husband. So what you do is you say, okay, well, I'm hormonally cyclical on a lunar calendar. And there are times of the moon cycle that I'm, interested in sex. And there are times that I'm not so interested in sex. And so I have this 5-day horny window around my ovulation, but there are also times when I could be persuaded to have sex. But what I really need you to do is I need you to understand that I don't wake up horny. I'm not testosterone dominant, so I'm not really ever that horny. Like once you get me to have sex, usually I'm like, oh, that wasn't bad. I like that. I had an orgasm if you did. And if you didn't, you just need to learn how to do that. And that's just another level of learning. Don't worry about it. You'll get there. I can help you with that, but not on today's show. So a mom can only do so many things in a day, right?
Yes.
So the soulmate pact is, okay, we're not these lofty human beings. We're not really human beings. We're Homo sapien. And if you look at the tree of life and you look at all the animals on the tree, the branch that we're on is the monkey branch. We're right there with the primates: chimpanzee, bonobo, orangutan, gorilla, Homo sapien. Like, that's where we are. We're a frickin' monkey, you guys. So, and we're ruled by our hormones, our blood sugar level, and our gut bacteria. For God's sakes, our gut bacteria owns more of us than we do, right? You know this.
Yes.
So we're ruled by all these chemical interactions that happen. And for women, every day we want something different. For him, he's steady state. Everything feels good to him every time. For us, we need different things. So one of my mentors, Sherry Winston, she she likens us to kitty cats and puppy dogs. And she says, kitty cats, we're finicky and we need to be stroked a certain way, not against the fur. We need to be stroked with the fur. And puppy dogs, they're all just like, hey, I'm ready. Okay, let's go. Because puppy dogs are light switches and kitty cats are fires. Fires need to be built. Yes. Very slowly and kindled, and you add the tinder and you blow on it, and then you add a little stick and another stick. You don't throw a log on to get a kitty cat going. You have to warm that kitty cat up, right? And so puppy dog doesn't understand that. He's like ready to go. Why aren't you? So he just, he's like ready to plunge right in, and you're like, oh, this is so much penetration, right?
Yes.
So what you
get off of me. Yeah.
Exactly. So what you have to do is you have to explain to him that every day you need something different, and that he wants to give you incredible pleasure. I can tell you that his role in life is to give you incredible pleasure. He wants to do that. He just doesn't understand you or know how to do that yet. So you got to learn those things together. So you're really doing husband training program. This is what this really is. Like, I could have called it husband training program, but I called it the sexual soulmate pact. Okay. So what this does, like I actually have a training program for husbands called Revive Her Drive. It's not about how to revive her drive. Guys get that and they think they've got to fix her, but they realize it's them. What it really does is it teaches them how to be good lovers. Yes. But it's tricky like that. I know about testosterone. It thinks it's not their fault, right? Yeah. So they hate to be wrong and they want to be respected for doing a great job. So this is what you do. You say, okay, I'm cyclical. We're animals. I need to tell you what's going on every day so I can give you the information you need to do an incredible job. I call that reporting in from my animal. I can't control her. She's this wild kitty cat. And so I'm just going to tell you what kitty cat needs every time we have sex. And here's what I need from you. I need you, because kitty cat's nervous and shy and a little anxious and finicky, and she'll start flicking her tail like a kitty cat does. Yeah. So what you need to do is you need to tell kitty cat that she's doing a good job. Good kitty, good kitty. And so the way you do that is you say, okay, baby, thank you. Oh, got it, baby. How's this? Oh, softer, or is this soft enough? Oh, harder, or is this hard enough? So you encourage me to tell you every time I say something, instead of going, oh no, or contracting or taking it as like you did something wrong. How could you know? I don't even know what I want until the moment I'm there, because I'm not in control of what my body desires. I'm going to tell you what it desires. So what you do is you say, here's the other thing. I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to say please or thank you. I'm just going to blurt it out, because you want me to stay in my turned on head state. You don't want me to be in my good girl state, because that takes me out of my turn on state. So if you could just let me blurt things out, but you have to say thank you to me. I need you to concur. I need to know everything's okay when I'm telling you these things, or I'll stop saying them and then we'll never get better in bed together. Can you do that? Can you say thank you, but not expect me to? That's the trick of this. That's the whole trick. It's crazy that that's the trick. Understanding you're an animal, understanding you change every day. And then of course, anytime he wants to say something harder or do it like this, or can you, move off my head or whatever, you go, yes, babe, got it. Thanks. You can say thank you to him, but you don't have to say, please, will you? You just blurt it out. And he just adjusts. And pretty soon it's like higher, lower, down, up, slower, now slower, no, even slower. Can you pull out for a minute and give me a break? Whatever you need, you just start asking for it. And all of a sudden your sex will get better. He'll do a better job. You'll have more fun. You'll start to have lots of orgasms in lots of different ways. And it changes the whole thing.
Oh, it's, I've heard somebody, are you familiar with John Wineland?
No.
So he talks about, he is a masculinity coach for men. Right. And so he talks about how do we help men get more into their masculinity, which is a problem of women in today's society. I work with a lot of women who are very much in their masculine, and it's really hard for them to let go and to step and to drop into their femininity. a lot of, so what they do, what he recommends for them to do is for the woman to actually do what you're saying, to become more gentler, to just ask for things, which immediately is perceived from his side that you are softer. Hence, he can be more of the, of taking the charge. So this is so amazing what you just said. I really want us to talk about hormones.
Let's go.
Tell me, what do we need to do in order to balance hormones, heal the gut, so that we can improve the libido?
Okay. So the first thing is that I would say generally that hormones don't actually have that much impact on your libido and desire. So everybody thinks that if they fix their hormones, they're going to have desire, but libido is partly your health. It's really about the body based, or do you feel healthy enough to have sex? And of course, your hormones are a part of that, but it's really your overall health. So hormones are not a magic bullet. It's not like you could get your hormones balanced and then you're just going to be this like super turned on woman. That's never going to happen. It's all the other things that I'm talking about that actually create the desire. So libido is you've got to be healthy. And I'm going to come back to how to get your hormones going well. The second thing is desire, and desire is how you feel about your partner and how you feel about yourself. And you do the relationship magic top 4 relationship values. So you start getting your needs met. So you actually want your husband, and they're not pissing you off or they're not meeting your needs out. If they meet your needs outside the bedroom, you're more likely to want them in the bedroom. When you do the sexual soulmate pact and you have that good communication, you learn together, you schedule sex dates, that creates the desire. Also, masturbation is very, very good. I really like a sex toy called Lady by the Fun Factory. And I can come back to that if you want me to talk about that, but it's Lady BI. It has 2 motors, and it's fabulous for masturbating a couple of times a week to keep your desire and arousal up. Mm-hmm. And then arousal is understanding that you need to be relaxed before you have sex, because what he wants to do is he wants to twinkle your buttons and flip your switches and press, and he wants to go right for your erogenous zones. He needs to learn to work from the outside in and get you into arousal, because you don't start out horny, as we talked about. So libido, desire, arousal, 3 different parts. Like think about a circle, 3 intersecting circles. That's the Venn diagram. Libido, desire, arousal. You can work in those 3 areas. So on libido, the very most important thing is that get off the birth control pill. If you're on the pill, get off the pill. Read Dr. Jolene Brighton's book called Beyond the Pill and understand that it will freaking kill you. It'll lower your libido. It'll make your husband not attractive to you. It'll ruin there are huge downstream effects to being on the pill. Get off the pill. Use non-hormonal contraceptives, either the copper IUD or fertility awareness method using some kind of sex tech device like the Daisy tracker.
Yes.
Second thing, make sure you are pooping like a mad woman. If you don't get up every morning and have an easy poo that flows right out of your butt, if you just don't like immediately poo, start working on your gut. If you have ever taken antibiotics, start working on your gut. There are a couple of things that you need to be doing. And one of them is, look, you can't make hormones if you're full of toxins.
Yes.
And you can't get rid of the toxins if you can't poo. Poo is like ground zero for hormone production. And so one of the things that I recommend is start taking a tablespoon of cod liver oil every morning, along with some ground flax seeds in your smoothie or your cereal or whatever. Of course, I don't recommend cereal because I don't think you should eat gluten, because it's gum. It literally clogs the pipes and you don't want that. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is a seed oil of some kind, and then vitamin E, about 600 to 700 units of vitamin E mixed tocopherols. They call that the sex vitamin. Vitamin E is fabulous for you. Mm-hmm. But a good multivitamin, take a good multivitamin mineral complex. And then you can also, once you get the oil in you, you're not getting enough fats often. You're just not getting enough fats to get the peristalsis going. You think you're eating healthy fats, but you're really not getting enough in there. Start getting those fats in there and you'll find the poos just kind of flow right out of you. And that will help, number 1. And then number 2, detoxing is really, you can use binders and you can use a sauna, but the first thing you want to do is you want to hydrate. You want to drink a ton of water, and you want to be peeing. Peeing and pooing are really good. Sweating, working out and sweating, or going for a walk, getting your blood moving, getting moving is really important. If you just do those three things, good peeing, good pooing, and good sweating, you're doing a lot of the core of detoxification. So that's helping you get everything moving. And then you want to see, okay, what's your stress like? What's your sleep like? I mean, these are very fundamental things, but there's no magic pill like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go do this one thing and then that's going to like get my hormones back again. It's really about lowering your stress levels, because cortisol takes the hormone pregnenolone and it converts it steals all of the precursors to hormones that were going to turn into your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, and it turns it into cortisol. So every time you're stressed out, you're ruining your hormones. So it's really about managing, why are you upset? What's worrying you? Because estrogen makes us naturally worried. It's the worry wart of hormones. So the more that you can realize that estrogen's controlling you, and if you're ending up creating drama or you're feeling in drama a lot, you're allowing yourself to generate that. And that's lowering your hormones, and that's making you sick, and that's lowering your libido. So what you want to do is you want to have lots of great orgasms. You want to calm down. You want to be as rational as possible. You want to have a loving heart. You want to get good sleep. You want to just take care of yourself. You want to poo like a mad woman. You want to drink lots of water and pee, and you want to get your butt up and moving. And like, if you just do that stuff, you'd be surprised at how much your body can make its own hormones.
Hallelujah. She said it. I love it. I freaking love it so much. Thank you so much for reiterating what I've been saying for so many years. This is so true. It's 100% true. It all begins with those simple things that we were designed to do, to pee, to poo, and to sweat. And this, if you do that, then everything magically will fall into place. All right, Suzanne, thank you so much. Before I let you go, I know we're like almost out of time. I have just a bunch of short questions that I would love for you to answer, so that our women have a little bit a bigger, even a deeper window into you, into your personality, of your personal life as a woman, as a wife, as a mother. Okay, so my first one is, as you know, the show is all about inspiring mothers to own their power and feel more confident, more energized, and more sexy as women. And I like to call it, and you said it too, being like a goddess. So I'm curious to know, how are you being a goddess in your own life? What do you do to take care of yourself, your soul, your body? What are some of your non-negotiables?
Having great sex. That makes me feel like a goddess. Also, cooking meals for my family makes me feel like a goddess. I also enjoy wearing really sexy clothes. Now that my husband's gotten me to understand what joy and fun it is, I love dressing up and wearing cute outfits for him.
Oh, that's so kinky. Love that. What makes you feel confident and energized other than sex?
Well, I'm really good at business. So what makes me feel confident is business successes, really. Another thing that makes me feel confident is when I give people advice and they come back to me and they're like, that was what I needed. How did you know it was exactly what I needed? That makes me feel confident too. Like I have mastery over giving people good sex advice.
I love that. What advice does your now mom self would have given to your pre-mom self?
I think I read a book once called The Strengths Finder, and it allows you to take a quiz that shows you what your strengths are compared to the rest of the American population, where you skew the highest on particular strengths. And when you follow your strengths, you don't worry about the things you don't do well, and you get help with the things that you don't do well, it makes you have a better life and feel more confident. And one of the things that I feel that I did in raising my daughter was I always tried to figure out what her strengths were and show them to her and cultivate those things that were her strengths. Like one of the things I noticed was that she had a very three-dimensional mind. So I sent her out into the yard to gather found items and create sculptures. And that turned into going into our crazy garage full of a hodgepodge of junk and creating sculptures and time machines. And I really invited her to think about things in dimension because I could tell that she had a more dimensional mind than all the other kids. And so I think that doing that was something that really helped raise a daughter that felt that she had some incredible talents compared to other people.
Oh, that's a good one. Thank you. Okay, my next one is I like to keep it real and show listeners that even though someone is an expert in one area, they might be struggling with other things. So what are some of your current challenges as a woman, wife, or mother?
Well, currently, my biggest challenge is that I'm launching a brand new company and I'm launching a libido supplement company. And it's scary because there's a lot of rules and regulations and technical things. And I've never done anything like this before. So the way that I'm handling it is it's like how to eat an elephant. I don't try to figure out the whole thing at one time and get overwhelmed. I just put one foot in front of the other. And I try to say, okay, I don't have to solve all these things, but what's the next thing I need to do? What's the next thing I need to do? What's the next thing I need to do? And sure enough, you look back and you've made a lot of progress.
Love it. Love it so, so much. My last one is, in one sentence, what is your vision for your life? What are you creating?
Love. I'm just creating as much love everywhere I go as possible. Love and joy and connection.
Oh, love it so much. Thank you so much. All right, Suzanne, before I let you go, can you please let people know how they can find and connect with you online? I've made so many notes. I think the most out of all of my guests. So I have all the links in the show notes below this podcast. But please let people know how they can find and connect with you. And please let people know about the Sexual Vitality Summit that is coming up, right? Is it next week? Is it in a couple? When is it?
2 weeks. 2 weeks,
in September. So please mention the dates as well. And then all of this good stuff.
Okay. So if you have any problems with painful sex at all, you might be interested in the Sexual Vitality Summit, which is at moresexualvitality.com. It's free and it starts on 9/23, and you are welcome to join. And Dr. Tom O'Brien is one of the free talks, but there's a really good one by Sherry Winston on your genital anatomy. It's free when you sign up, and it's amazing. She teaches you all about your genitals. Really important, even if you don't have any pain, to go get that free video. Yeah. And then you can follow me on Instagram, Susan Bratton, SUSAN BRATTON. And I think that's the best place to find me is on Instagram.
Amazing. All right, Susan, I have to add this before we end. When your PR guy reached out to me, I was blown away, not only by your mesmerizing and magnetic personality, but also all the things that you've accomplished in your life as a woman. I want you to know that you are an inspiration to me and to so many women out there who, for whatever reason, gave their power away and are working on getting it back. So ladies, this is what's possible when you own your power, when you rise up to your own life, when you learn and educate yourself, when you go against every single limiting belief that you've had grown up that is telling you why what you want is not possible in reality. So take Suzanne's example and know that if she did it, you can do it too. Thank you so much, Suzanne, for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much, Dorit. That was the nicest thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Before you go, I know you're ready to jump out into the rest of your day. But before you do that, can I please ask you to pause for just one moment and do one quick favor for me? of leaving a review or rating the podcast, or maybe share it with your friend, or even better, snap a picture of yourself listening to this episode and share it on social media and tag me. So if you go to Instagram, tag me at Dorit Palvanov Coaching, or use the hashtag Confident, Energized, and Sexy Mama Podcast. You see, my personal goal beyond having these amazing conversations with guests or hosting these solo episodes is to increase the visibility for this platform and these messages to be shared and heard by the women who need it the most. And there is absolutely no way that I can do this on my own. So I'm asking you, the incredible community of confident, energized, and sexy mamas, to help me with this goal. Whether you are coming to me through iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you're listening to this show from, please rate, review, and subscribe to the show. It would mean the world to me. So I thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.